Greetings, everyone. It's Brock Ross with the weekly comic roundup. Already done this week's XMen Avengers books, so let's move on to this week's SpiderMan books, as well as the 2099 related stuff. So, kicking things off with Scream, Curse of Carnage, number 2. Okay, so where we left off, a portion of Scream's symbiote dripped off into the, I want to say it was the East River, I believe. Meanwhile, Annie Benton, who is staying at the feast shelter that May Parker works at, had a run-in with, apparently, her mother, whom she hadn't seen since she was a child. So we begin right where we left off with Andy and her mom meeting up and talking, and Andy and the symbiote are of two minds on the subject. The symbiote does not trust this, whereas Andy herself is like, I want my mom. However, it's not Andy's mom. It's a creature. Seemingly made from the symbiote portion that was dropped in the river. And it kind of makes little doppelgangers, and Scream fights them off, but the cops show up and she makes good on her escape. However, one of the other feast residents is afflicted with the symbiote. And so she returns to the shelter and lets the symbiote spread. And so Andy screams up and starts fighting people, and she does manage to pull the symbiote out of one of them. And May stops her from going any further, and it said that the bit of symbiote that she plucks out of one of them smells like brine and the depths and dead things below. We have a brief vision of pre-creation of Null sending out the symbiotes. As well as some legends. Then the day was done as the dragon would have it. He no longer would wait on the wall, but departed, fire-impelled, flaming. The dragon began then to vomit forth fire, to burn the great manors. The blaze then glimmered. For anguish, not her woman, not anything living, was the hateful air roar willing to leave there. The war of the worm widely was noticed. And so it turns out that this somewhat symbiote-ish creature under the water, well, she decides that she must have Scream, claiming she was so young, full of strength. And it's that Null is coming, and perhaps Null will let this creature keep Scream for itself. That's where the issue ends. Moving on to Ghost Spider number 5. Where we left off, the Jackal of the primary Marvel Universe, Earth 616, followed Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy, through a dimensional portal to Earth 65. And so we begin with Jackal being slightly disoriented. So, he starts to investigate, get his bearings, and makes some allies, and has his newfound allies, as it were, take him to their leader, Dr. Miles Warren. And so the Doctors Warren meet one another. The Earth 65 Warren turns out has a plan to potentially defeat Ghost Spider. And so they set a trap for Ghost Spider, which Gwen stumbles right into. She gets captured. The bait, the bait, who's now no longer needed for bait, is been killed. And so the Doctors Warren disagree on how. First off, they're trying to figure out how her dimensional travel necklace works, but it turns out it's key to her DNA. And so, primary Warren kills the Earth 616 Warren kills Earth 65 Warren, and Gwen's band shows up. They join in the fight against the Jackal. Gwen gets free. Her and her bandmates talk a bit. Looks like she's not going to be making practice tonight or this week. But the Jackal has escaped. Finds some criminals in it. He does manage to find some criminals, and so, I'm no stranger here, so I believe this is an appropriate request. Take me to your leader. That's where the issue ends. Next up, we've got SpiderMan Velocity number 5. Where we left off, Spidey and Haley Harvey were moving at incredible speeds to the point that Haley was igniting the air around her. And so Spider helps to, take care of the flames. They continue their running, and they explain that he potentially made a way of curing her, which he doesn't mean to do. He explains that he thinks that he can help regulate her speed. And then after the velocity suit explodes, Spidey returns home, and a package arrives at after the Harvey's apartment with a copy of the Daily Bugle. Apparently, MJ wrote her story about Haley's father, entitled "The Ghosts of Oscorp's Past," and there's a costume just for Haley, which includes the means of regulating her speed. And that is what her costume looks like. And that is the end of Spider-Man Velocity. However, there will be another story from the Spider-Man video game verse, this time focusing on the Black Cat. So, that'll be coming soon. Anyway, moving on to Amazing Spider-Man number 36. So, where we left off, Spider-Man, utilizing the clairvoyant, managed to hook up with Spider-Man 2099's AI assistant Lila and look into to see what to do about the Doom problem. So we begin with, well, Doom killing Spider-Man and his sister Teresa. And so there are various ideas. All hands, leveling up, time travel, really crazy. They all end the same way. Doom triumphant. Of course, it devolves into a fight between Doom and Spidey. Turns out, though, that was part of the plan. First, let Doom beat him up. Then, tell him the truth. And Spidey explains to Doom what's happened, so like, but the Doom bots, before leaving, leave some scars on the face of the city. No civilians harmed, just hitting cultural institutions and infrastructure. Spidey tries to attack Doom for this, but he bats him away. Then elsewhere, Spidey 2099 washes up on a beach, where he finds his old girlfriend. Back at ESU, Peter and his classmate Jamie decide they're going to, since Peter managed to find a power source that actually works for clairvoyance, well, they're going to try and go forward with it. Meanwhile, Silver Sable is visited by her cousin, basically says that, basically everyone went all to plan. The sanctions against Latveria, those played off exactly as they're supposed to. And, war with Latveria is coming. And during his interrogation, the Chameleon states that the fun is just getting started. Now moving on to 2099 Omega. Alright, so where we left off, well, things weren't looking good. The best, actually, this is a really good way of, actually, this is one of the better catch-up bits, but Miguel O'Hara has been a cog in the machine his whole life. A gifted geneticist, he came to work for Alchemax, researching genetic mutations in the toxic wasteland called the Ravage. But after a traumatic experience on the job, Miguel began to suspect his employers of shady dealings and left the company. Still, Miguel refused to expose their crimes despite the pleas of his brother Gabriel, a revolutionary fighting for the poor Thorites. But after Miguel meets a mysterious old man claiming that they're the same person, he may get his chance to do right. So, the public eye and the Thorites are duking out in the streets, and it's really not going well. Miguel, or the younger Miguel doesn't believe that this is his future self. However, the older Miguel touches the younger one and basically transfers a whole bunch of memories to him of 2099. And explains that how things are currently is the fault of Doom. We get a brief glimpse of the finale of Fantastic Four 2099 and Conan 2099 and Venom. And seemingly Doom means to kill the Watcher. Anyway, so the older Miguel explains to younger Miguel that the Forgotten Age, as it's called, was the Age of Heroes. And that as he was supposed to be, Miguel would end up becoming the Spider-Man of 2099, and there would be other heroes he worked alongside as well. However, that 2099 died. And Miguel went back to the past and ended up being thrown about time, and yeah. So now it looks like they have to trip. And so it's suggested to, Miguel suggests to Miguel that he becomes Spider-Man. Kind of going through what happened. And it turns out also that the biometrics copier that Miguel left with Gabe is being used by Gabe. And he's going to go and basically release a bunch of non-disclosure files from Alchemax. So, the public eye attacks the apartment at Tyler Stone's order. And then Miguel goes to Alchemax, messes his DNA, becomes the right way, becomes Spider-Man. And the Watcher says before he dies, it's his honor to see a new age of heroes born. And that is where the issue ends. So, yeah. It was nice that we saw the X-Men in the in older Miguel's memories, but yeah, I figured maybe they'd fix the damage that Doom had done, and get the world back on track, so to speak. But I guess not. Well, they'd undo the damage Doom had done, and that would set things right in such a manner to where 2099 everyone knows and loves would be back, but nope. Anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. And as always, this is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.